We're about 4 meters above sea level right now. This is South Maui. This lava field that you see in front of me was produced by a volcanic eruption a little more than 200 years ago that flowed from that vent out to the sea. This was a slow eruption, similar to the one that's ongoing now at the Kilauea volcano on the Big Island of Hawaii. That eruption has been ongoing for more than 20 years. The slow release of lava and magma over time is a lot less catastrophic than what we anticipate is going to occur when that enigmatic object passes this planet. When that happens, the results, tectonically speaking, will be an extremely violent explosion. An explosion that's similar, we believe, to what produced the demise of the Siberian woolly mammoths. This explosion was so great, induced by the passage of a celestial body, that it blew the Earth's atmosphere straight up, billions of tons of air, right up into the troposphere, into the outer edges of Earth's atmosphere, where it became super cool, very dense and super cool. During that time, when it was rising and falling, the Earth rotated. What goes up came down. This time, now super cool, super heavy, dense air onto Siberia. And the woolly mammoths never knew what hit them. The point is that that particular kind of event caused that particular catastrophe. And it may happen again, and we think it will happen again. The nearest preceding event that will be recognized by all people just prior to very serious consequences that I've outlined is this. When a space shuttle mission is forced to abort because of a meteor shower. And I'll say that again. When the space shuttle is in the air, is in space, when that shuttle is forced down to the ground by meteor showers, which is probably in and of itself an unprecedented event, that's when it begins. Now, the next space shuttle mission is STS-114, scheduled for launch in early 2005. So that's the earliest that this particular sequence, this Killshot, can start, is early 2005, according to schedule. When you see this happen, and all the media will report it, that's when you'll need to be in place. You'll need to be in a safe zone. We'll talk more about that momentarily. This event is the harbinger of very serious things to come, this kill shot. There are many mythologies that make reference to the beginnings and the endings of ages of man. The Chinese make reference to a day when the sun rose twice, or a day when the sun rose in the opposite side of the sky. Plato refers to Atlantis sinking in 9600 BC. There's one thing, though, that remote viewers know. Off the coast of Cuba apparently lies, submerged in 2,200 feet of water, a very large built-up complex, a city. There are pyramids, streets, plazas, at 2,200 feet below the water. How did that get there? There's only one way for that to get there. The only way for a city to lie 2,200 feet below the water, a city that was once on exposed land, is for the Earth's axis of rotation to turn, even ever so slightly, to shift, which would make a new equator, whatever the new equator would be. I think what happened to this city off the coast of Cuba and others like it is that the civilization and all artifacts of it was, for all intents and purposes, erased. Remote viewers know that that city off the coast of Cuba is a real city. It really is there. It really is under 2,200 feet of water, and there's only one explanation scientifically for it being there. The Earth had to do this. So here's our Earth, rotating this way. Here's the North Star. Where will be the new North Star? When this begins to wobble suddenly, not over geological periods of time, and shift. A new North Star and a new equator, because the axis of rotation of the Earth will now change. All the landforms will change. Exposed seamounts will appear. Seamounts that are under possibly 2,200 feet of water will now pop up and be new land. This, in conjunction with killer solar flares, is indeed the end of an age. It's indeed the end of life on Earth as we know it. What we're saying and what we stand by is this event is right around the corner. Very interesting to be alive in this day and age, the end of an age. What does that mean for you and I? Don't be near the coast or be inland and very high, because tsunamis could theoretically be 2,000 feet or 2,200 feet. The coastlines, when this event occurs, are not only dangerous for the reasons I've outlined. There are many nuclear reactors, nuclear power plants along the coast, in our country particularly, in the United States. Those reactors will break and release clouds of radiation. There'll be many Chernobyls in many different places, in Japan, in North America. That's one reason not to be near those reactors, not to be near the coast. Another thing that will happen is if the Earth turns ever so slightly as it's rotating, winds will pick up all over the planet. And in some belts, those winds will achieve speeds of 200, 300 miles an hour for sustained speeds of 200 to 300 miles an hour for days on end. This will require you to be either in a slot canyon, underground in a shelter, concrete preferably, or somewhere out of those winds in a structure that will withstand winds of that speed. And we don't know, as remote viewers, where all those belts will be. The permutations are too complex. We haven't been able to achieve that degree of detail in our work. But we have discovered one very, very important thing. Wherever crop circles or forms like them, ice circles, these forms sometimes appear in ice as well. Not the ones laid out in crops by college students with planks. The real ones attract us with their beauty and their mystery. Their purpose is and has been this, and this is the power, I feel, of remote viewing, to be able to solve problems that no other system or tool can solve. The purpose of crop circles is to mark out survival zones for this upcoming event, this discontinuity, this kill shot. The greatest concentration of crop circles over the last decade and a half, or 20 years actually, has been in a zone 40 to 60 degrees north, in the northern hemisphere. That means northern United States, Canada, particularly Saskatchewan. These zones are away from the coast and higher latitudes, 40 to 60 degrees. So 50 degrees would be the center of mass in this zone that would stretch across southern Canada, through the British Isles, to western and eastern Europe. Those zones appear to be eminently survivable in terms of continuity of culture, human culture. That doesn't mean that times will not be hard there too, but other places may be fatal in the light of what's coming very soon, apparently.